again, gold is such a great play right now. Most people aren't really fully, like, you look at the gold chart, and I hope you don't mind that I'm kind of taking us in this direction.
Go for it.
But if you look at the gold chart, a lot of people are like, oh, gold stinks. It hasn't even moved all year. We're basically hovering at the same level we were at the start of the year, which was right over here, right? So, I mean, maybe we're up 1% or 2% on gold, but this is only one small portion of the deal here. Number one, Bitcoin's down over 50% since the start of the year, maybe even more. Number two, the equity markets, the S&P's down over 20%, NASDAQ is down over 30%. So now you're in an asset where it's been holding steady. And not only that, but usually in a market where the dollar soars, gold gets smoked, but gold has been rocking here. Take a look at the DXY, the move from the beginning of the year. Here's the beginning of the year, and look at the dollar. The fact that gold is still even flat to positive when the dollar has soared is hugely bullish, right? And then the other side of the coin, and this too, Carrie, is that when yields start to go up, usually usually gold also gets pounded. And look at yields since the start of the year. We're basically up over 100% on yields, and gold has still held strong. So again, it's not flashy, it's not sexy, but gold has been rocking it this year. And what it tells me is that when the dollar finally starts to decline, or when yields continue to pull back, you could see a major move up in gold.
Can we go back to that US dollar chart? I want to find out from you, Gareth, how you play that. The US dollar has been strengthening and continuing to strengthen. Obviously, there is a lot of debt out there which is held in US dollars. In terms of the US dollars as a currency, here we are, I'm talking to you from Australia. The Australian dollar has weakened a little bit. The US dollar strengthening. Do you see that continuing to happen? Almost like Brent Johnson's dollar milkshake theory, where he says it will continue to strengthen. What's it telling you?
Yeah, so this chart right here and these parallel lines, at least for me until proven otherwise, is everything, right? So we can clearly see that you started, this is going back to 2015, then you had this high in 2016, you missed it a little bit here in 2020, and now you're hitting this line. And notice the parallel line is almost perfectly touching here and then touches here and here. So what I like to do is when I look at charts, I say, okay, anything can happen. You're going to hear people saying, oh, the dollar is going to go to zero. You're going to hear people saying, oh, the dollar is going to continue to rip higher. It's the only game in town. I'm more in the middle ground where I say, well, let the chart tell me. Let the chart tell me. And what I see right here is that every time we come up here in the past, we're kind of getting a pullback, here, 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 and here. And that tells me that the probabilities of a move is for a down move. So I'm actually bearish on the dollar here in the near term over the next couple months. I think the dollar could pull back.
All right, and going back to gold, you're mentioning that people think it isn't sexy, nothing's happening with it, but actually it's doing what it always should do, which is, I guess, holding its purchasing power, holding its nerve, if you like.
Yeah, and I would just point this out is if, let's say the dollar wasn't up huge this year, I think gold could be $100, $200 higher, right? I think if yields weren't soaring this year, same thing. So you have to put it in those perspectives. And then the basics of it is that, gold has held your value this year if you were in it versus the S&P or Bitcoin. So I still will tell you, I mean, here's your trend line. You broke out right here. You went to double top. That's a classic double top with this high in 2020. We then had a pullback to the scene of the crime. We kind of kissed it again, but gold is still holding this golden trend line, if you will, that tells me it's still in a breakout, even though it hasn't soared yet. I would just say, look for the signals, look for the dollar to start to come in. Things like that could be the catalyst to the bigger move up in gold that should start sooner than later.
Do you think there's any other things that will create a bit of a move in gold? For example, the war with Russia and Ukraine expanding potentially to other parts of Europe and even potentially globally. Do you think that could also be a catalyst for a flight into gold? Because my thinking, Gareth, was that with Bitcoin's massive pullback, that there was going to be a little bit of an increase in gold. Doesn't seem to have happened. But as you say, It's not all bad, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, gold's doing its thing. But what do you think might be a little bit more of a catalyst? Because it's certainly a store of value.
Yeah, I mean, I think any sort of geopolitical. I mean, if the war, hopefully not, but if it were to spread, people would absolutely run into that. They'd also run into the dollar, though, frankly. So again, then you'd have that battle of dollar up, and then can gold also move up? So it's tricky, right? I mean, you have to look at it in those terms, but I think instability and fear are reasons why people buy gold. And I think that fear factor of what's the Federal Reserve going to do? Is the economy going to go into recession? Are they going to start printing again? Or is it reset? This is why gold to me makes so much sense, is because if the Fed is printing, then you have inflation. If they're tightening, then you have recession. And the fear of a recession makes people buy gold. So it's kind of like both sides, to me, makes sense with gold. So again, it should be one of those things where it's almost like you sleep a lot better at night having some gold in your portfolio.
It's just like a little bit of an insurance policy. Now, silver.
That's what it is.
I know you like silver. You say to me, you said to me in the past that you liked it, and you thought if it gets to 24, that could potentially be a buying. We're below 20. I think we've just hit below 20. What is going on with the poor old silver market?
Yeah, so I mean, the longer term chart, I still am bullish on, for sure. You have the big move up here. This is all sideways consolidation on a bigger time frame. But there's no denying that right now we've had a little bit of a short-term breakdown on silver, and your next target is around $19. So my guess is we do test 19. And a lot of people are saying, why is gold holding up, but silver's kind of coming down? And the essence of that is basically the industrial side, right? So silver has that side of it where it's used in batteries, it's used in solar panels. So if the economy is moving towards recession, then it makes sense that there could be a weakening in silver, even if some people are buying it as a store of safety. Now, longer term, and this is the big thing too, right? Is a longer term, is it dead? No. And the bottom line is we're moving towards an economy where there's more alternate energy like solar, more electric cars. So I mean, shorter term, yes, recessions come and go, but I think again, the switchover has started, and the 19 level is a huge buying opportunity. I'll be eyeing that one to buy some.